Hey everyone, welcome to Cuss and Clarity. If you're new here, I read tarot for people who's tired of confusion, mixed signals, and breadcrumb behavior. Okay, I don't do no sugar-coated spirituality. It's an intuitive reading, direct and honest. So if you want clarity, you're in the right place. If you want comfort in lives, then you won't like me. Okay, I do private readings. You can find my link tree in the bio. There's also private sessions there. I won't reach out to you from any other pages or reach out to you directly. The key to reading tarot is to let people come to you. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, today's pick a pile reading is going to be what lesson is closing out. So instead of crystals today, I have here an apple, like a little squishy stress ball type of thing, and some little mini scissors here. Okay, so you'll be choosing your pile from these, and I'm also going to pull an oracle to kind of help you out as well. All right. So with the apple, spiritually, an apple can mean and symbolize renewal and growth, healing, okay? Also fertility and love, but it can also symbolize the knowledge of temptation or, the Adam and Eve story. But it's also associated with life-altering choices. Now, don't let that deter you or scare you. However, life-altering choices can bring us to our next highest level for our next highest good, okay? We also have some mini scissors here. Now, of course, scissors, cut off, okay? Edit. This may be literal. You may be someone who edits for social media. You may be an editor for papers, documents. You may be thinking about doing a home edit, getting rid of some things, maybe purging some things out of your life. It doesn't have to literally just be cutting off people, although it can be that too, okay? So pause if you need more time to pick your pile based off of these two symbols that we have here, and I'm also going to pull two oracle cards to help you decide. Okay, for the oracle cards, I'm going to be pulling from the Daily Ritual Oracle. All right, so let me shuffle these. Today's reading is what lesson is closing out, okay? What lesson is closing out? Something that you've already learned, something that you've already gotten through. What lesson is closing out? What is your spirit team closing out for you, okay? So to help you pick your pile, I'm going to choose two oracle cards here. All right. We have braveness, okay? This also looks just like the strength card in the tarot. Okay, so we have number 6 and braveness. So the number might resonate with you. The photo might resonate with you. All right, and so for pile 2, your oracle is Luna, 21. I honor the sacred flow and rhythms of the feminine, okay? And braveness says, I am brave. And I'm going to actually read. So card 6 and card number 21. So pile 1, card 6 says, this powerful card will remind you that you are brave and capable of tackling any challenges in your life. The powerful energy of the lion will help you to overcome any obstacles in your path and know that you are supported by the universe in every situation. It is time to act bravely and conquer your fears. Place this ritual card where you can see it often today and use it as a reminder of the powerful energy you possess. Draw on the wise and proud energy of the lion and tell yourself often that you are brave. Now, because you don't have the physical card, you can take a screenshot if this pile resonates with you. So we have the apple squishy, card 6, and braveness for pile 1. For pile 2, we have 21, Luna. I honor the sacred flow and rhythms of the feminine. So this card says specifically for pile 2, I honor the sacred flow and rhythms of the feminine. Luna is the ancient Roman goddess of the moon and the personification of the moon itself, which controls the cycles and rhythms of the earth, the tides, and humans. Luna is revered as being a goddess of the divine feminine to honor the link between feminine cycles and lunar phases. Her energy celebrates all things feminine. Your ritual is to cleanse yourself and release anything that is no longer serving you through the medium of water. You might have a bath, swim in the ocean or a pool, soak your feet in water, or take a walk in the rain. Whatever you choose to do, do it with the intention of recalibrating and getting back in sync with the feminine. Okay, so these are the piles for pile 1 and pile 2 readings. So go ahead and pause and decide. Go ahead and meditate on these and we'll get into it. Okay, welcome back, pile one. You chose the little apple squishy, and I'm using the Divine Tarot deck today for what lesson is closing out, okay? What is your spirit team closing out? What lesson have you learned? What obstacles and hurdles have you overcome, okay, to help you get to your next path of your destiny? All right. All right, we have the two, oh, I can't read. The Four of Cups, okay, in a reverse. This is one of my favorite decks. It has such beautiful art. All right, what lesson is closing out? What lesson has your spirit team closed out for you? Okay, we have the Star. Okay. The Seven of Coins, which is the Seven of Pentacles. And the Chariot. And the Chariot was in reverse, okay? Okay, so we pulled the Four of Cups in reverse, the Star, the Seven of Coins or Pentacles, and the Chariot in reverse. So what lesson is closing out for you, pile one, is with the Four of Cups card. I love that this card represents there's a person looking at these beautiful little tchotchkes that they have, these golden birds, right? But there's a real bird outside in the window. So this card usually symbolizes to me, with this particular art that this illustrator has chosen, is when we start to look at all the shiny, pretty things, but we forget about the reality of a specific situation, okay? And then we have some peaches back there, which definitely resonate with sweetness, maybe even Georgians that might be listening and watching this, okay? So the Four of Cups in reverse is definitely closing out your season of stagnation and disengagement. That just definitely speaks to this artwork here, where you were admiring things that maybe weren't very practical, and now you're starting to come into a place where you're no longer fighting that boredom, turning away from the real life opportunities or any fears, okay? You're going to re-engage with life, which is beautiful, especially with this art that I just described. You're no longer looking at the woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, okay? What you coulda did, how you coulda acted, what everybody else has, okay? Because let's be real, that happens sometimes. Sometimes we covet and look at the things that other people got. We wonder, look at social media, and we looking at people that we think is ahead of us, but we're missing what's outside, right? So imagine looking at these birds made out of some type of material, whether it is real gold or not, but you have the real life bird outside looking for that attention. So you're moving away from that, okay? You're re-engaging with real life. You know, you're choosing to feel again. You may have been numb for a little while. Maybe numb because things weren't working out and you kind of gave up, or you were just tired of feeling left behind, maybe tired of feeling like things weren't going your way, but now you're starting to re-engage. The Star here is a woman holding a lamb. She's looking up at the star, okay? That symbolizes hope, renewed hope, okay? If you did lose hope or lost trust in your abilities to make things work, lost your trust in your abilities to make shit shake, honestly, if you relied on somebody else and they let you down, that can kind of give you a like, oh, damn, why did I do that? I knew better, right? I missed all the red flags and I got myself into this mess. Whether it has to do with business or personal life, romantic life, you're learning to trust yourself again. So your spirit team is closing out the lessons that you have learned, where what happens to you when you get bored and you start wishing that you had what others had, when you did rely on somebody possibly that kind of let you down because you didn't trust yourself and you didn't set those boundaries. That's closing out. You've learned those lessons, okay? You're learning to heal without rushing, and you're being more honest and gentle with yourself. With the Seven of Coins, it also speaks towards impatience, self-doubt, okay? The Seven of Coins is actually calling out to me a little more, so I'm going to read because these cards have backstories that have to do with different cultures and different spiritual practices around the world, which is why I really love this deck. So with the Seven of Coins, it is an Aztec mythology, okay, from Mexico. It says the Seven of Coins represents the desire for a good harvest, though it might require sacrifice. Now, don't quote me now, okay? I don't know if it's in focus, but Nana Watson must determine when it's right to be patient and when it is better to scrap everything to start fresh. Reward, perseverance, decisions, investment, and fruition. So your spirit team wants you to know that upon closing out these lessons of stagnation, wanting things that other people have, comparison, okay, that you might have been doing, maybe even relying on somebody else to help things work for you with the star. Maybe you trusted somebody that didn't deserve your trust and it kind of set you back or delayed the plans that you had. Spirit team wants you to know that you're moving into your fruition. Okay, your impatience and self-doubt has been lifted and you're learning to wait without quitting and giving up, because you know you got to be real with yourself. If it don't work out the first time, that don't mean scrap the whole thing. That does not mean don't do it at all. Especially those of us that got ADHD will pick up a project, honey, and will never pick it back up again, especially if we don't learn it the first time. Especially if you don't know what you're doing in the first 5 minutes, you'll get bored. Are you bored? Or have you not been taught the skills that is necessary to keep a good steady pace and be able to finish something? Okay, and that's how sometimes we can get caught up relying on other people because it seems like the easy way. Well, the easy way is done. And so your spirit team wants you to know that the easy way out, you're no longer doing that. Okay, you're learning how to trust yourself and do what you know is right and not criticizing yourself, being overly critical of yourself. Okay. The Chariot in reverse. Now we know the Chariot is about movement. This is about you forcing direction, trying to be control. Okay, that's ending for you. And I know that you probably feel that about yourself. You might have given up control in situations that you never thought that you would. And you felt good about it. If I'm being honest, the energy that I'm feeling is that you feel good about it. You feel good about knowing, like, you know what, I don't have to have all the answers. Okay, you're learning that alignment and getting in tune with what the universe has for you, getting in tune with your higher self is way better than speed. Hurry up and let me do it. You know what I mean? Let me hurry up and get to it because I feel like I need to do it now. You're now coming into focus of knowing that you need to enjoy life, okay? Reconnect with the real things. This might even be a symbolizing of staying off social media so that comparison doesn't happen. Now, social media can definitely be used as a tool. Obviously, I'm here, okay? But don't let it get you to the point where you're comparing yourself to the people that you see, or you're looking too much on the screen and you're missing what's really out there in real life, okay? But you're also learning that the procrastination that you have endured over the course of your life is now coming to a close, and you're starting to get in tune with who you are and knowing that the speed at which something happens is not the most important. It's about being aligned, whether other people think what you're doing is good or not. You are learning to trust yourself so that you know that if you're aligned, you don't need anybody else to tell you if it's good or if it's not, okay? You're learning how to pause is what I'm hearing, and trust in timing. You're being intentional, okay? So let me pull some more cards here for you. Okay, what lesson is closing out for pile 1? All right. So the overall message of these first 4 cards is that you're basically learning that pushing harder doesn't mean that something's going to happen faster. And we have death, okay? But you're learning that when to move and when not to. You're learning that alignment and listening to yourself and listening to what leads you, right? Your spirit guides, the universe, whatever meditation that you do to lead you instead of rushing or your own anxiety. And then we have the 5 of Cups, but it was in reverse. And the 5 of Cups in this deck, this story is about La Llorona, which is a Spanish folklore. And then we have the Death card, okay, and then 5 of Cups in reverse. What lesson is coming to a close for pile 1? Okay. We have the King of Cups in reverse. And I'll pull one more. What lesson is closing out for pile 1? I'm going to take the 4 of Wands. Okay, beautiful. Okay, pile 1. What lesson is closing out? I'm noticing a lot of 4s and 5s coming out. We know that 4 is stability and manifestation, and 5 is power. So this is really telling the story of how you're coming into being able to receive what you're manifesting, because you're letting go of control, but not the type of control where you don't know any direction, but the type of control where you're trying to control the outcome and not allowing the timing and for you to listen and meditate more to get it right the first time, instead of trying things, throwing spaghetti at the wall type shit, okay? The Cup cards are coming out in this reading often, and so it's about spirituality. Water, that signifies your emotions and feelings, and the water signs, Pisces. Now, why I'm forgetting? Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I drew a blank there, okay? So you might be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or that might be energy that's surrounding you and your friends and family. But the overall message for this is, again, you're coming out of that stagnation where you are relying on other people, maybe being a little bit jealous or envious of the things that you see on social media, instead of engaging with people that care about you, engaging with real life. You're learning to not try to control the situation for the time for speed, okay, to try to speed stuff up, and got your hands all in the mess trying to make stuff work, or picking up a project, putting a project down, instead of allowing yourself to steadily focus on a task and get it right, okay? So we had the 5 of Cups in reverse, Death, King of Cups in reverse, and the 4 of Wands. This overall message is talking about your emotional recovery. Now, the La Llorona is the crying woman in Spanish, okay? It talks about grief. But when it's in the reverse, it's talking about the emotional release that you've already had. A lesson about self-blame and the regret and the guilt coming from the 4 Cups, where you may have been looking at what other people have or feeling like you should be farther in life than what you are. It's lifting. You're no longer beating yourself up about what went wrong, okay? Reclaiming my time is pretty much is what I'm hearing, right? You are getting back into a space where you're like, you know what? Yeah, that shit happened. And I did maybe waste some time. But all of us spiritualists know that there's really not a such thing as wasted time, only divine time. And the feelings of anxiety that we feel are telling ourselves that, like, dang, I should have did it then. We all know that everything is right on time. And it's about the lesson that we learn by doing those things. Now, you absolutely can learn a lesson about being lazy. I'm not going to lie. You can definitely learn a lesson about letting shit get to you to the point where you stopped looking at what other people was doing, maybe even relying on somebody. Maybe somebody with the star card told you they was going to help you, or you really, you bouncing ideas off of people and they turn around and they don't work as hard as you on a project, or work as hard as you on the idea, making some shit work and maintain it. It can even be a relationship that didn't work out. You thought that you and this person was going to elevate, and you realized that they was full of it. Now you beating yourself up, like, damn, I should have known. I knew better than to do this shit. I work better alone, and I let somebody come up in here, let somebody old dusty ass, person come into my life and tear me away from what it is that I was doing. That's okay, because that grief is lifting. You're reclaiming your emotional stability, okay? You've already had the emotional release. You cried about it already. There's no sense in continuing. Okay, we know that the Death card means an ending. This is spirits telling you that this is not a transition. This is a complete halt and stop. Your old identity is done. The emotional pattern that you've been through is completely over. And the King of Cups is definitely the king of emotional stability, okay? That's about our heart chakra, what we know about ourselves, okay? Our true self within. Emotional suppression is over. You're no longer in a situation where you feel like you can do it all by yourself and you don't need to talk to nobody. That might even mean that you went and got you a therapist. That might mean that you actually believe that therapy was real, because some of y'all don't. Some of y'all thought that y'all had it and you can do it on your own, because we see mental health and we see emotional issues as something that is outwardly shown in people who don't function. And you probably getting right into yourself and say, that's not what that is. And you've probably been educating yourself on the topic of therapy and things like that, because again, you know, it could be stigmatized and make people think that you have to be severely, mentally ill or imbalanced in order to seek a therapist. And so that might be what this card is signifying, or you might just be learning more about yourself to the point where you're no longer tolerating any emotional inconsistency or manipulation from others, and you're not neglecting yourself. You're also not neglecting your emotions. You might be a person who has been told that you're too much. And now you come into like, well, then go ahead and find somebody else then, baby, because if I'm too much, you can choke on it. You're taking up space, okay? The Four of Wands, we see a couple here. They're celebrating, okay? They're celebrating a marriage, a union, okay? And again, we know that 4 represents stability and manifestation, which is exactly where you are. You're emotionally stable. You're going to be financially stable because you're now able to bite off small chunks of things that you're working on and goals that you want to meet, instead of trying to hurry up. And I'm hearing get rich quick. Now, a get rich quick is not necessarily a negative, but it's a negative when people just keep trying them and keep trying them and keep trying them. You like, oh, this look good. This is trending. Oh, somebody told me about this deal. You know what? I'm finna start doing this. You might be the type of person that buy a whole bunch of shit in bulk thinking that you finna open you up an online store, and you might have some great ass ideas, but you didn't do no research. You didn't start with marketing. You didn't put nothing down on paper. Now, that happens when a lot of us are very intelligent and we are very creative and have a lot of good ideas, where you don't think that taking those stepping stones, taking those classes, getting in rooms with people who do the same thing, researching, okay, to the cows come home. You may not think that you need to do that because you lay awake at night having all these good ideas in your head and you feel it in your gut. You know this $1 million idea. Well, guess what? The smartest people admit when they don't know shit. Looking something up does not mean that you're admitting defeat. It means that you're smart enough to put some fucking roots down before you make a decision. And you're coming into that with this 4 of Wands, stability, okay? Emotional safety. You are now your own emotional safety net. You no longer have to rely on others who are going to tell you they're going to do something and they're not going to do it. You may have sought out outside counsel, whether it be self-help, whether it be this reading. You've sought something outside of yourself to be able to help you stay on your path and stay grounded, okay? This also can talk about a relationship, even though we're talking about a lesson that the spirit team is closing out for you. It may have been some lessons in love here, but I'm hearing more so lessons in your overall person and how you deal with stress, how you deal with time management, and how you process moving on to your next goal, okay? How you even accomplish your goals is what is closing out here for you. You're no longer going to be in a situation where you're not kind of progressing forward as you wanted to because you're holding a lot in, you're not doing a lot of research, and you've been eyeing other people on social media or even in your real life wondering how come you won't have it. When's my turn? Okay. You are feeling more at home with yourself again when this 4 of Wands, okay? We have this beautiful married couple here. This is a union, but that union is with yourself. You're now knowing that the joy that you feel was earned and you're able to accept it. And I'm going to get real close to this goddamn microphone when I say this shit. You do deserve love. You do deserve to be happy. You do deserve for people to treat you like you are a good person, like you mean something and matter. And you're allowed to take up space with your emotions. You are allowed to be heard. You are allowed to express your feelings as well. You're allowed to be a person who is worthy of friendship and relationship. You no longer have to feel like somebody who has to hide back or pull back because other people have tried to make you feel less than. People try to make you fucking feel less than because you take up so much room that it make them feel some type of way about themselves. They watching you, okay? You the golden bird in some people's story. where they looking at you and trying to figure out how the hell you done got all this shit and how come it's not coming for them, and why the whole time you looking on social media looking at people in the outside world rendering the same damn thing, not knowing that you been on top of stuff. And Spirit is leading me to say this, and this may resonate with some of you and maybe not all, okay, because this is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you wasn't where you're supposed to be and you was behind in life, why you be the youngest person in the room most of the time? Hello? So before I pull some oracle, the overall message of these cards that I pulled for you, pile one, is you're finishing the chapter, okay, where you defined who you are by what you have. You defined where you are and what you've accomplished by who is patting you on your back and high-fiving you and telling you good damn job. That's over. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel safer, emotionally safe with yourself, okay? You're not surviving emotionally anymore. You're coming into a pure joy that nobody gave you by high-fiving you and telling you how great you are. You're no longer going to procrastinate based off of where you think you should be. And you're releasing all of those old negative self-talk, all of the jealous and covetous behavior, if we're being honest. Jealousy is not a negative trait to the point where we all can admit that we have been there before. Your goals are going to be accomplished because now you understand how to truly slow down and put some roots down before launching these ideas or before trying to move on to the next goal, okay? And I'm going to close out your reading, pile one, with some oracle from the Messages from Her deck, okay? Now, before I get to pulling from this deck, I don't want to hear nothing. Now, I didn't write the damn thing, okay? And not everybody in this deck have a good reputation in the celebrity world. But take the symbolism of the card for what it is and not so much about who may show up on here, okay? Now, I always want to leave people with something practical that they can use in order to get to the next level so that you can use this reading in a practical way, okay? What you can do to get these blessings and what you can do to move on to the next step that your spirit team has for you. So now that this lesson is closing out, what can you do to practically put this into place and continually stay on this path? Okay, so we got Marilyn Monroe for charisma. All right, and I'm going to read what that says. So this is something that you can possibly do in order to maintain this emotional stability and maintain this momentum that you're on in your path, okay? Marilyn Monroe's quote is, "It all makes sense." It's, Lord, look at me not being able to read. It's all make-believe, isn't it? Now that resonates with that Four of Cups. I don't even have to read no more, do I? Because, baby, I done already said what's getting ready to be in this book. However, I'm going to read it anyway. But it's all make-believe, isn't it? That's a quote from Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn knew the power of personas and playing with the full range of human expressions. She knew that charisma could be developed just like any other skill. It's time to practice being more open, engaged, and expressive. The most charismatic people are the ones who make others feel amazing about themselves. Build your charisma by uplifting, listening to, and complimenting others. Your personality is not fixed. You can pick up desirable qualities and drop undesirable ones whenever you want. Be careful about the hardened beliefs you have about yourself and others. Unexamined, these ideas can confine your life and your capabilities. Remember that we're all making it up as we go. Marilyn also knew that no human is meant to be on all the time. Being constantly engaged can burn you out and drain your precious energy. Learn when to give and when to hold back. An alternate meaning can be sex appeal. It isn't about perfection, size, or looks. It's about the feelings you exude. What are you telling the world with your vibes? Experiment with exuding sexuality and watch what happens. Okay, pile one? So, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay, so this is your reading, pile one. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you save this reading for the future. And there are private readings that I do where I will send you a video. We can do a mini reading, a love reality check, a deep dive. You'll get a recorded video from me just like this with your card spread and your open-ended question that you have, or if you just want an overall reading. So go ahead and hit that link tree in the bio here on on YouTube, and hit me up if you want more. Okay, pile 1, so that's what I have for you today. Okay, pile 2, you chose the scissors. Okay, the pink scissors. Again, that can be literal editing, that can be cutting people out of your life, that can be cutting off old habits, however those scissors resonated with you. And today I'm going to be using the Disney Villains tarot deck. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, again, if you watch the beginning of this intro, you already know, obviously you chose your pile, but if you skipped right on over here because you already had your pile in mind, I'm going to repeat, we cuss over here, but we also clarify. We cuss a little bit and we clarify a lot. If you want to do a more in-depth reading after receiving this collective reading, you can smash on that link tree button in the bio and hit me up for a private recorded reading just for you. Okay, so let's get into it. What lesson is closing out for pile 2? Okay, what lesson is closing out? Okay, we have the Ace of Wands. That's the little staff that Jafar was holding, okay, but it was in reverse. All right, what lesson is closing out for pile 2? Okay, we got the Chariot, baby. Now, you know Cruella was swinging that car all around the town looking for them puppies. Okay, the Chariot, it was in reverse. All right, what lesson is closing out for pile 2? The Spirit team wants to let you know what you've overcome and how you can use what you overcome to get to the next phase of your journey, okay? What lesson is closing out for pile 2? All right. Oh, we got 2 stuck together there. So we have Temperance, okay? Flotsam and Jetsam from The Little Mermaid. And then we got the 2 of Cups. Okay, perfect. Okay, starting off the bat, we got some fire sign energy coming out here. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, big Sag up in here, period. Okay, so what lesson is closing out for you? Your spirit team wants you to know that you have gone through the false start phase, okay? Trying to spark some passion or trying to push yourself to feel motivated at every whim. It could be work, you know, it could be the type of job that you're in where you feel like you got to be on, or you have to push yourself to be happy. Hell, not even just be happy, but pretend like you with what they got going on. You know what I mean? Fake it till you make it type shit, but you tired of faking it. And that's okay, because Spirit is proud of you for being authentic or starting to learn how to be, okay? You're learning how to rest, and you're learning how to say no when a goddamn no is warranted, period. They also, this Chariot also came out in reverse in pile 1. So I think that that's perfect when the piles align, when as a collective spirit team wants you to know that you are letting go of being out of control without direction. Because remember, I told you Cruella was swinging around them streets trying to find them puppies, honey. I don't think she could drive. I don't think she had no damn license, if we being honest. So you are not pushing forward just to prove that you are here, like you got progress, like yeah, I'll do it. You're not volunteering for no more stuff. You're not pushing yourself to the limits, trying to prove to people that you're good enough, trying to prove to people that you got it together. You're tired of looking like you have it all together, because you realize that there is beauty in not knowing or just not giving a fuck. To be honest, I don't want to. You're not going to be controlling situations without any direction. You're being very mindful of what projects you take on and what you say yes to, who you say yes to. You're starting to come into the mindset that pause doesn't mean failure, and saying no doesn't mean you an asshole. It don't mean you're mean. It means that you're starting to recognize that there is way more power and way more beauty in knowing yourself than trying to prove to people and say, hey, this is me, this is me, this is me. No, you're learning to let people know who you are without having to prove it to them. If you want me, you like me, you want me on your project, you want me on your team, you want me at your job, you want to fund my idea, whatever it may be, you're going to get who I am instead of me trying to tailor myself to try to prove to you that I'm good enough. It's just coming towards you. You're learning that. Your spirit team wants you to know that that's what's ending for you right now, okay? Temperance is about balance. Okay, we have the duality with the flotsam and jetsam. We have the two, which is always balance and harmony. You're learning to balance, as we just spoke about, okay? You're understanding how to ebb and flow, yin and yang. When know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Ain't that what the grandma used to say? And the Two of Cups is a beautiful energy where you're learning how to get away from one-sided connections, honey. Your spirit team wants you to know that they are proud of you, okay? Through these tarot cards, they're letting me know that they're proud of you for learning what one-sided, when there's no reciprocity, okay? What Lauryn Hill said, what I have to do to get a little bit of reciprocity. You're learning that. Like, hold on, this shit is one-sided. I'm the only one caring. Whether it's romantic, friendship, professional, you learn what it looks like when people actually know how to reciprocate. So not only are you learning how to stop starting and stopping things just to prove that you are worth something, okay? Or feeling like you have to take on all these projects because it makes you look well-rounded. You're also learning how to be in control of your destiny without just driving all around, baby, hitting corners and hitting the corners and bending the corner and hitting the curbs. Okay? You ain't out here wilding out and driving like a maniac no more. You're controlling your energy. And you're learning about balance and patience, knowing when to say no, knowing when to say yes. Knowing that no is a complete goddamn sentence. You don't owe nobody no explanation is what you're coming into. It's about rest. You might be somebody who has always been doing something, always been in school, been at your job for years and years and years, be the first person to raise their hand and offer up a project, but then you be looking out the window at all your friends and stuff, going out, hanging out, doing stuff. You feel burnt out. You had a massage booked. Now you can't do it a massage because you done told Cheryl at work that you was going to pick up the project. You always filling in for who be calling in sick, but then when it's time for you to call in sick, come on now. This you? The spirit team is telling you ain't doing that crap no more. You done learned, and maybe you learned the hard way. But all of that showing up sick just to prove you, absolutely not. Now, I'm never going to tell nobody to do something that's going to cause them to lose their job or not be looked at as a good employee. But you know where I'm going with this. Doing too much is what I'm hearing. You are used to do too much. But not because you didn't mean it, but because you thought that that's what success looked like. You thought success looked like somebody who was always on the go. Bending them corners. Pulling up down the street. Like Cruella. But now you're learning when to say no, and you're not settling for less anymore on those one-sided relationships. And it could be business relationships as well as friendships, platonic and romantic too. Okay, let's get some more cards here. Yes, how to. I love this for you. What lessons are closing out for pile 2? Now this one won't even get back in the deck, so let's see what they talking about. We got the Page of Coins, which is the Page of Pentacles. Okay, we got the 3 hyenas from the Lion King. We know that the coins is also the Pentacles. Okay, represents the Earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. Okay, we also know that the number 3 is about movement and teetering. Okay, so again, we did talk about teetering earlier, and we did talk about your movements. How you move is changing. Okay. How you move with that chariot is changing, honey. You can look good in your little black and white fur coat, but you ain't got to be bending down the corners like that. You ain't got to be beating down the block like that, okay? You ain't got to be wildly swinging around, okay? We got the Knight of Wands. I think this the little magician from the Sword in the Stone. Yeah, she was the little witch on the Sword in the Stone. But the Knight of Wands was in reverse, okay? Making sure they weren't stuck together. This is a new deck. So breaking in the cards. Okay, Knight of Wands in reverse, Page of Coins. What lesson is closing out for pile 2? What lesson is closing out for pile 2? We have the World. Now, don't ask me who this is because I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. Pause it. Google it. Chat GPT and tell me what it is in the comments. The World, okay? What lesson is closing out for pile 2? Yeah, sorry to that man because I don't know. Okay, but that's the World card. Page of Coins, Knight of Wands in reverse, and the World. Okay. What lesson is closing out for pile 2? Now, we know that the Page is the youngest energy in the deck, okay? When that comes up, it oftentimes reminds us of how we can maybe not take ourselves a little too seriously, you know, kind of like the childlike dreams that we used to have and things we thought that we could do before the world beat us down and we had to start paying fucking bills. It's talking about a new beginning, how you're now grounded, okay? You're learning how to start small. And it also brings up curiosity, the way that children are oftentimes curious, okay? Maybe you've been learning more. You might have been picking up more books. You might be researching the things that you want to do. You might be getting serious about your mental health and you've been doing some research on that because you want to start being there for yourself better than you were before, because that's important. You have not been there for yourself. You've been saying yes to shit that you should have been saying no to. You have not been very kind to yourself, and this kind of childlike young energy, shall I say, brings open more of your curiosity because you're starting to close the door on when you were not being very kind to yourself, okay? And the Knight of Wands in reverse is also speaking to that, where there's burnout. There was burnout. Rushing ahead instead of making lasting, meaningful goals. Just doing shit. Especially when you treating other people's goals better than you treated yours, okay? Not saying, again, never encourage anybody to cut up at work. Okay, bills got to be paid regardless. Okay, we live under a capitalistic society, period. However, there is some rich, fat white man, most likely, no shade, that's taking his family to the motherfucking Bahamas as soon as it get cold, or as soon, you know, and you are living out their dream. You are showing up every day, cultivating somebody else's dream and idea. That don't mean quit. Now, it may be, okay? If that's been on your mind, if that's been on your brain, but always have a plan. Don't come back here talking about cussing clarity told you to quit your job. Absolutely no, I did not. But if that has been on your mind and that has been on your brain, you do need to start thinking about cultivating your own damn ideas. Absolutely, you do. You've been thinking about going back to school. This is your sign. You are in school and you was thinking if it was the right move, or maybe I should just continue to do what I'm doing. I've been here 10 years. What's the harm? I've already done this. I don't want to start over too damn bad, because your spirit team is telling you you're letting go of those thoughts and ideas of what happens when you start doing shit for other people and not you. Okay? Stop raising your hand and volunteering for every goddamn thing and it ain't got you nowhere. Okay? That little 75 cents is not worth the fact that you tired all the damn time and you complaining and you keep on calling your homegirl, your friends, your mama, your granny, and you cussing on that damn phone all the time and scrolling through the TikTok trying to be mindless and find something else to take your mind off of the fact that you got to clock in fucking tomorrow. Let them people do their own goddamn work. Do what you need to do. Now, I'm saying this, but again, don't quote me. Sometimes you got to do enough just not to get fired. If that's been on your mind, okay? I'm not swaying anybody. I want to reiterate that. I'm not telling anybody to quit. I'm not telling anybody to slack off. I'm not telling anybody to mess up their livelihood. But sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves and realize, like, I'm doing somebody else's dream. I don't give a damn if you work at McDonald's. Somebody had a dream to make a McDonald's and serve hamburgers to America, and you over here helping them live their dream. And what you doing for yourself? Are you fulfilled? Spirit is telling you that you're starting to think about that. You're starting to realize how your energy was scattered, okay? And you're getting out of that. And I do want to continue to reiterate that although these things are probably kicking you in your ass right now, your spirit team is telling you that this is closing. You're not going to be this person anymore. You have been contemplating what's next, what to do. And I'm here to help you get clarity on that, okay? The world is about completion. I still don't know who that man is, y'all. Completion, your full self, okay? A full version of who you are. You're ready now and more confident. And that's why I keep reiterating the fact that you are thinking about it. If you haven't put one foot in front of the other and actually started doing something about it, you're thinking about it. And your spirit team is telling you that you're closing out those old ways of doing everything for everyone else, but forgetting what do I want? What do the people who are reading pile 1 want? And it doesn't have to be an extravagant dream. It just have to mean something to you. And even if it's something that you really wanted to do, and listen, this is what's on my heart right now. And I'm gonna get real with y'all, for real. I'm feeling a strong sense of somebody listening to this that you've been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, but you haven't put one foot in front of the other because some hating ass bitch told you it wasn't a good idea. And no shade, and I do apologize, okay? Charge it to my head and not my heart. But sometimes it be your own mamas. It be your own partner. It be your own best friend. It be somebody really close to you that discouraged you. And it's been on your heart. It's been on your mind, though. You can't stop thinking about it. If you wanted to go into fashion, or you were thinking about becoming an editor or writing a book or doing something creative that people was like, yeah, I don't know, you make no damn sense. Or they kind of made, a little joke out of it and you kind of giggled it off like, yeah, I was just playing. You wasn't fucking playing. You think about that shit all the time. You ain't stopped thinking about it. Fuck them. They were wrong. And your spirit team is telling you that you're starting to realize that, and you're starting to realize that it is okay to be the best employee. It's okay to be all you can be. It's okay to be the best mother, parent. You don't have to be working in corporate, but you're taking on responsibility. You're taking on responsibility that isn't paying off for you. Even if it is paying you, it's not paying off for you. You're tired. You're burnt out. Okay? Spirit team is telling you that you're stepping into your own and you're learning how to navigate purposeful progress. Starting to realize that it doesn't take mastery. You don't have to have it all together right away. You just need to research, okay? We did have that come up too, where you're starting to research. You're starting to get more familiar with things, okay? You're starting to pique your curiosity, whether that's taking care of yourself and getting in tune with maybe some self-help. Maybe this is your first reading and you thought like, you know what? Let me get some guidance and some clarity. That's a perfect start. But whatever it is that you have going on, you're no longer just experimenting and throwing shit at the wall. You know where you're going now. And boom, there go the chariot. You're not wildly driving around. You know exactly what it is that you want and you're ready to execute it. I am doing all of this to be recognized and I'm just going to keep saying yes to things so that people could finally see that I'm a hard worker. You're getting rid of that. You're still a hard worker. You're still a high achiever. You're still somebody that can take on many projects at once. You are still a fucking badass multitasker, but you're going to figure out how to put that into some use for you and those that you love. Okay? Let me get some oracle here to close out your reading. Pile 2. I'm going to be reading from the messages from her deck. Now, again, I'm giving the disclaimer. Not everybody in this deck is people that we love and admire in pop culture. I did not write the deck. However, I always want to leave people with something practical that they can use in order to accept and maybe put this reading into practice. Okay, so you can accept the energy of the card that I'm going to pull for you without resonating with the actual person that shows up. So I just want to iterate that. Okay, let's see. What energy can pile 2 emulate, or what practical movement can pile 2 put into place to accept the guidance and clarity in this reading? Okay, We got Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I think she was on Seinfeld or Friends. We're going to see. Laughter. Okay? And I feel that. I feel that with this reading that I just provided you, because I'm not saying you stiff. Don't get me wrong, but you stiff, friend. You a little serious. It's damn sure giving very earth sign energy, honey. I'm very strong towards the Capricorn and the Virgo. Not saying you ain't no fun, but you put business ahead of a lot of things. So I'm not surprised that laughter came out for you. But let's read what Miss Julia card has to say. This is what you can do practically, and something that you can meditate on to accept this reading and move on to your next phase of your journey, okay? Her quote is, I have no agenda except to be funny. Now, come on, do I need to keep on reading? Because remember how we talked about you need to stop trying to have an agenda and trying to control everything? Yeah, okay. You need a good laugh. Your mind and body are calling for it. And laughter is an elixir of health. It lowers stress hormones, raises immune cells, and produces infection-fighting antibodies, all of which support a healthy immune response. Laughter also triggers a release of endorphins. Endorphins are your happy neurotransmitters that reduce the brain's pain receptors, modulate appetite, and release sex hormones. Studies have shown that laughter decreases blood pressure and improves cardiovascular and heart health. Laughter also reduces bouts of anxiety and depression. Don't forget to laugh with others too. Laughter evolved in humans as a way of communicating genuine care and safety. Build goodwill by spending quality time laughing with your friends. Oh, by spending quality time laughing with your friends. Child, I can read. Socialize. Let yourself be amused. And definitely don't be too cool to lose yourself in laughter. An alternate meaning is city and culture. Your soul and mind need to spend more time in the heart of the city. Seek out art, different kinds of food, people, and diverse thought leaders. Expose yourself to all that vibrant city and its culture has to offer. Now, let me see a little bit more, because they say, yeah, she was on Seinfeld. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, I was correct. Okay. That's your reading, pile 2. Now, don't forget, now, if you want some laughter, you can always visit the channel. I am going to keep people laughing, honey, because I'm going to keep it real with you. We do cuss a little bit over here, but we clarify even more. If you need a journal to jot down all of the thoughts and you want to cuss somebody out and you want to write about the fakest bitch you know, please see the link tree in my bio. I do have a Cussing Clarity guided meditation journal. As well as any personal readings that you guys may want. You can hit that link tree down in that bio and you'll get a reading personalized for you specifically with questions that you may have directly if you want a more in-depth look at what we have here today. So again, I thank you guys for visiting my channel, and that's all I have for you today.